You will not stop me.
I wonder if every time I try to cast a spell, you guys will have something to say about it.
No, I thought it was fine.
Welcome to RollQ, where super nerds with questionable accents tell a great story. We saved you a seat, so grab your dice. Let's roll. Tonight, we continue the tense battle with the Gallows Speaker in the Ethereal plane to rescue the soul of Stella Walker. And there they were confronted by the spirit of Leo Delisnia, an ancient enemy whose only aim is to forever destroy anyone with the last name Wachter. And speaking of Wachter, we begin in the middle of what I think is the third round of combat. And it is Lady Wachter's turn.
I run her, don't I? She is going to go her full move. The radius or emanation has entered her space. So I believe that's a wisdom save from him.
And I shall get a 19.
That is a success, of course, but I believe it is a half damage. 17 halved to 8 radiant damage.
As she re-enters, as the spirit guardians again rip into this thing, it is almost being ripped apart entirely. Like it looks like it's going to just dissipate.
She's obviously very happy about that, and she is going to heft that mace that you described her as having previously. She will bonus action. That's going to be 16 to hit.
16 hits.
Wonderful. So we've got 1d6 of bludgeoning, which is just 2. He probably doesn't mind so much. 9 radiant.
The swing with the mace seems to do it, and as the radiant damage poofs through, you see the robes basically dissipate. And it looks like the form is going to dissipate as well. But it does only to lurch back into full form. It takes the dagger it's been holding and slashes its own invisible throat. You see now the dagger is ethereal, and now every one of the dozen hands holds a dagger of its own, except the one holding the leather book. Its eye sockets seem to burn towards you. I've waited almost 1,000 years.
Well, she stopped for the moment because that's the end of her turn.
The speaker now will turn its hand up, and I'll need Lady Wachter to make a wisdom saving throw.
All right. 5.
You all see Lady Wachter's eyes flash with anger and bitterness, but it's not towards the Gallows Speaker. She looks at Oksana, and she will swing the mace towards Oksana.
Whoa.
Joe, go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Bro.
That is an 8.
As she turns toward you, Oksana, you see an almost spectral noose around her, and she swings this thing, but misses with it completely, and she snaps her eyes like that, and the noose disappears.
Except I should be rolling twice because Oksana is restrained, right?
This bitch, man. I am restrained.
Tis true.
I can roll below again. She's got a very poor to hit. I got lucky on the other thing.
Did you just roll a natural 20?
Of course I did.
No.
So we
Really?
No.
So we
he didn't
definitely
remember. Bro, he did not remember. So we had moved on. We don't back it up. We don't back it up.
so
Back it up all the time.
so we do not need to add any radiant damage. Does not need to happen. So this will be just the d6. So it'll be 6 plus the roll.
Okay. And it's a whole 6. Of course it is. So 12.
Oksana, you take 12 points of bludgeoning damage as you
Holy
get
shit.
smacked with this thing. You look up in horror. You see Lady Wachter's eyes look back at you in horror, and she kind of shakes her head, and then she looks up, and she looks shocked herself.
I bet you're shocked.
Cormac, your turn. You are restrained, but still blessed.
If ever there were a need. And he will pull out that gilded peony and cast Summon Fae, and will appear near this guy, the Speaker of the Gallows.
The Gallows Speaker will wave its hand in front of the Fae Spirit and use its ghastly foresight ability. Just gives you disadvantage on your hit.
13 force damage.
Gummer's turn. Gummer, you are paralyzed. Is there anything that a paralyzed person can do?
Drool.
Gummer drools into his beard. Luckily, the beard is thick enough no one notices. Sam, you are also paralyzed. Go ahead.
The moisture actually helps, as some of his vines are like, oh, that's nice.
Sam, you, seeing Gummer drooling, attempt to drool yourself. However, you are paralyzed and unsure if, even if not paralyzed, it would work.
Perhaps some dust can loosen. That's all I can think of.
So I did have Erasmus make a saving throw against paralysis, but he's a poltergeist. You can't do that. He is, though, looking a little sad. So he's going to use his action to disengage, and he will move around almost as far across the room from the Speaker of Gallows as he can get. And that is his turn. Oksana, restrained.
Okay, so I have to subtract 1 from this turn, and then I roll with the disadvantage on my attack because I'm restrained,
Yes.
as I remember it. Okay, restrained, can't move. What actions are there other than studying the area around me? Can I say a spell?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can say any spell that you have.
All right. Oksana is looking around and she's gonna cast Fireball. I can't even think about I'm stressed. Can I do that? Is that allowed, gentlemen? Is that allowed?
I mean,
It is.
Are you does it have somatic components? Because
Doesn't matter.
She's not paralyzed though. Restrained,
Right.
She can still speak.
that's but there's the verbal components, and then there's also the somatic components and material components, right? So if it has somatic components, she have to be able to move her hands in the magical wavy way. Rules lawyer.
In this case, I'm going to overrule you.
You should.
To be paralyzed is to not be able to move one's arms. To be restrained, I imagine someone has their hands around your torso or your hips. You can't go anywhere, and you can't break it like you could break a grapple, but you can still move your hands.
Could I blink it just for better measure? I don't know.
You can totally cast spells. The restraining condition just doesn't interact with that in any way. It's not a big deal. I will only say, and you may feel free to do as you like. It may be worth it, but you'll probably obliterate the Fae Spirit. It's fine. It's up to you.
Whose space spirit is it?
Mine,
Hmm.
the one I just put there. I mean, you could obliterate all of us instead. That seems dumber.
Try it.
Especially since, Gummer and Sam would automatically fail.
I wonder if every time I try to cast a spell, you guys will have something to say about it.
It's just dangerous. It's fine. That's
You
why
just
it's so
asked
powerful.
Why do
literally
you
asked
think
for
I
the
asked you
opinion.
guys? Why do you think I asked?
So you can't complain about advice when you've asked for advice. You can't. That's not.
Can I complain when I'm being
That's
given
confusing.
advice or talked over or all of these things? Just saying.
Not if you've asked for the advice.
Okay. I will
He will probably survive it.
DM, can I Misty Step without any sort of issue?
Yes. You cannot Misty Step and then Fireball.
Right.
You can Misty Step, absolutely.
But I can't because I'm restrained.
I would roll that you can cast the Misty Step spell. It puts you 30 feet away. Now, from the 30 feet away, you can't move away from that. But Misty Step is, the purpose of it is exactly this. So you absolutely, positively can Misty Step.
Yeah, I guess I can't remember what exactly is restraining.
If you were
it.
paralyzed, you could not, but you are not.
When I Misty Step, I will just move and then I'm still restrained. Just sorry, did you say that? I just completely
Yes, you will still be restrained.
So it's a hard situation. And what can you remind me just from last week what effect has us restrained? Like, was it like a mental thing or what was it?
You are wrapped in spectral chains, and having failed the strength save, those spectral chains hold you and wrap you.
Gotcha, thank you.
Until the start of my next turn, which approaches.
Can I ask a clarifying question, which may or may not matter? If she is wrapped in spectral chains and then Misty steps out of them, can she then move?
I would rule that in the interest of keeping it mechanically correct, that wherever she goes, the chains will stay on her.
Okay.
If they were real actual chains, then they would, collapse. But as they are magical chains, I'll say they travel with her.
That makes sense.
So she would still be restrained until the start of my next turn.
So nobody is I wouldn't be able to physically touch.
If you Misty Step next to anyone, you can touch them.
Well, if I'm standing next to the gallows, even though I'm restrained, who's restraining me?
He's restraining you.
So
but you can reach out and touch anyone within 5 feet of you, even though you are restrained.
Okay. Then I will, she'll cast Burning Hands. If that works. Does that work, Joe?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, that's a Dexterity of 16.
Dexterity save.
Again, I think I'll probably have to make it. I can't see a way she's going to angle it that won't get, not me, but the spirit.
I rolled a 5. I failed my dex save.
That's 20 fire damage.
Nice.
What's your DC, Oksana?
16.
So the spirit will take half of that. It's a 15
You said that was
cone, right?
25?
20.
That's a lot. Okay.
And that's my turn?
Everyone, make a wisdom saving throw.
That's an 11 for me.
11 fails.
8.
Speaking of blessed, do I have to roll again since I got hit?
You sure do.
Sorry.
Good call. Appreciate that help.
We are no longer blessed. I rolled a 2.
Then I rolled a 7.
Yeah, it's a natural 20 for a 23 on Lady Wachter and only a 13 for Cormac.
13 is a failure.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 is a success. Not immune to this, Erasmus fails. It opens up its mouth and it releases this maddened, burbling cry. And as it opens its mouth, you see just fire and almost bitterness made visual pour out of this thing. And everyone who failed is frightened until the start of the Gallows Speaker's next turn.
Rules-wise, what does that do to us?
You cannot move towards me. Disadvantage on attacks, I believe.
Approach. Yes.
It is not the I have to run away fear.
Right.
It is not that. It's my bonus action. My first attack. I'll move there. The Gallows Speaker looks at you, Sam, and will say, "Where's your morning lord now?" And it will take its first attack. Sam, that is a dirty 20 to hit.
That will not hit.
So,
Just
as though answering the question, it reaches out and it tries to just grab you almost with its sort of spectrally, almost like a mage hand, but it cannot.
smash it away with my shield.
Makes this furious face, and it will use its second attack to try again.
How dare it?
That is a 23 to hit.
That will hit.
Sam takes 18 points of necrotic damage.
Sam's the opalescent light in Sam's eyes and mouth, and that's illuminates the various elven runes upon his being, flickers and sparks, and then fades into a deep green and into a blackness as he collapses into a pile.
As Sam starts to collapse, the Gallows Speaker turns a hand and it holds Sam up. Sam is still unconscious, and it then pushes off and heads straight up. This does not trigger opportunity attacks. Sam is still in his grasp. So the speaker will go straight up right through the ceiling, and he ends his turn 55 feet off the ground, as does Sam.
A point of clarification really quick.
Sure.
We know that the misty area on the outskirts of the map is essentially like half cover.
Mm-hmm.
Is the ceiling now half cover?
It is. For you as well, should he attack you.
Yeah,
that goes
that's really
both
what
ways.
I'm worried about right now.
Yeah, that goes both ways. That is the Gallows Speaker's turn. Lady Wachter's turn. Normally, in a normal D&D game, we'd be doing the combat not a week apart. You guys can fly through the ceiling too. Yeah. All you have to do is think, and you go your whole movement speed. You don't have a fly speed.
And we can't move closer to it.
Can't move closer to it.
Lady Wachter can, but
That's true.
She's not going to get close enough to do much. And boy, I guess we don't have the slightest idea what will happen to an unconscious person who can't decide whether they're going through walls and floors and things. Where are they in relation to, like, the ground?
Straight up.
Right, but I mean, like, so how far are they above actual ground? Like, assuming that he wasn't going to pass through things if he were to come down, right? Are they hovering just above the surface of the quote-unquote Earth, or are they way up in the sky above the Earth?
I would say they're in the sky above the Earth. I suppose being that you're in a basement, as it goes through, you can see it spectrally go through, the lounge of the house and up into, the parlor is half cover to go through the thing. I might have said disadvantage, which would be incorrect.
Well, I can't recall if I've tried this at any point, but it is not. I just want to make sure. No concentration on it or anything. Lady Wachter will attempt to command the Gallows Speaker to approach.
Okay.
She has the command spell, so it is a wisdom save.
I'll use my reaction to use Ghastly Foresight to give myself advantage on that. I rolled an 8 and a 5. That makes my total 9. And that is a failure.
So, on its next turn, it has to move toward Wachter by the shortest and most direct route.
And just as importantly, that's all.
Right. All right, she's happy with that. I mean, I think she'll just stay. I don't think she wants to run and be halfway between here and there. She'd rather stay near Stella, I think. So, but that's a character thing. You can tell me otherwise. Unless there's anything that happens between turns, as there often seems to be.
There is not, at this moment, anything that happens between turns.
The Fey Spirit has 30 feet of speed, so he looks like he's flapping as he heads up through the ceiling, 30 feet up, and then he will use his bonus action, Fey Step, to teleport up to 30 feet, which should get him up to next to the guy, at which point he then has advantage on the next attack roll he makes. I don't think this is going to take the guy down and drop Sam. I'm going to attack. I know it's a slight risk.
Because he's holding Sam with a spectral hand, he is concentrating on this spell, or he's concentrating on this ability. The stat block's very clear about that.
Well, I'm not, what ability?
Taking Sam?
Oh,
his
just
ability
taking him away.
is called, Grasp of the Grave. But while I have someone grappled, it is considered concentration.
Interesting.
It's a
happens
custom
if you
stat
drop
block.
It? What does the loss of concentration mean in that case? If it's not a spell that's going to end, if it's caused by grappling, it doesn't necessarily mean that the grapple ends if the concentration ends. I wouldn't know any of this anyway.
It very specifically in the stat block says, if concentration is broken, the grapple ends.
Okay.
This debate has been brought to you by the law offices of Rules Lawyer.
Yeah, boy.
1-800-RULES Law.
So anyway, that's a somewhat positive thing in y'all's
Sounds
favor.
like a terrible thing to me. I don't want Sam to fall, right? So I was pretty sure I wouldn't kill this thing with one blow, but I might break its concentration with one blow.
Yeah, but as you said, if it takes intentionality to fall through these solid...
I don't know what gravity's going to do at all. I don't think I would know, even being a smarty Cormac, so I'm just going to try to attack. Whatever the thing is. That's going to be a 24 to hit.
That absolutely hits. 12. As the force damage blasts through, I'll make a constitution save. I need to roll a 10 or better. I rolled an 18. Sam is still grappled.
That's the thingy's turn. I don't think I did anything as Cormac before that, right? I did stuff as a Wachter before that. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
We do this in one of my other games as well, where it's like you play a side character with the hope that you'll be spread out among the initiative, and never. It's always back to back.
Always.
All right, so Cormac will go his speed of really, that can't be right. Do I really have 45? I thought it was 35. I don't see any adjustment on my thing. Boy, that's weird. I will try to figure it out here and hopefully figure it out before we need to know, but I have certainly enough to get up through where I should be on his side of the obstructions so that I can... Oh, right, frightened. Thank you. All right. Well, let's do this instead then. Don't want to use that. I will swap back to the crossbow and just do a true strike disadvantaged. Can't be double disadvantaged, so let's see what happens.
Did Cormac fly through the ceiling?
You can't because of the frightened. I can't get closer to him.
So this is in half cover as well.
Okay, I see. Right, I forgot it's cover, so it's really bad, but whatever. Yeah, it's 13 to hit.
13 misses in half cover.
I thought it probably did.
But now you know.
Breaking my heart. Why are you playing with my heart that way? What did I do to you?
Because I'm hard to remember things. Even things I literally said 15 seconds before that happened. Literally 15 seconds. Maybe not literally.
Breaking my heart.
Pretty close.
All right. I think that's all I can manage to do, probably. Yeah, I'm good.
The Speaker of the Gallows will use its reaction. It gets no action or bonus action when commanded. It does get reactions as normal. And it will turn to the Fey Spirit, and I need the Fey Spirit to make a wisdom saving throw.
Natural 20
Hey.
for some number that might actually be less than that, so worth checking. No, flat, so 20.
So I don't know if Cormac would hear this. I don't know if anyone would, but this creature tries to put echoes in the Fey Spirit's ear, but it seems to not matter at all as the Fey Spirit just looks back at the Gallows Speaker.
Good
and
point.
the haunting echoes does not work. That will bring us to Gummer.
Sam is not within 60 feet of me, right?
I'm
He is 55 feet
away.
above you, so he
Well,
certainly
except-
is.
With where I am on the map.
No.
Pythagoras never matters as much as I think it does.
Okay,
So I
that
will
makes
say
sense.
you are within. I used to pull it out, and it was always like 2 or 3. It never mattered. Go for it.
Then I think his frustration actually like bubbling over into actual anger. Gummer's gonna say, "Wake up, you pile of rocks!" And he's gonna cast with his bonus action Healing Word for 8 HP, since he can't cast another spell. And knowing that it's about, we heard the command, right?
Yeah, you can hear through that. It might be a little muffled, like your ears were in a bathtub, but I would say that yes, you heard the command.
Well, Walker yelled it from down here anyway.
Walker's command.
Right. Oh, I thought she went up to yell it.
She decided
If
not
she
to once I
didn't-
found a thing that had range.
Then you totally heard it.
He is going to hold his action to cast Firebolt once it enters the emanation of Spirit Guardians.
Okay.
And that's his turn.
A newly awoken but grappled Sam. It is your turn.
Can I attack from within the grapple, or do I have to break
Oh,
the
yes.
grapple first? Okay.
You do not have to break the grapple.
Um,
You do, still being in the grapple, take some damage as your turn begins. But I rolled very poorly. You take
Woohoo.
5 points of necrotic damage.
Oh gosh. So I had been thinking I would wake up and cast protection versus good and evil, but I am now thinking it's a much better, much more Sam thing to do to simply wake up and resume attacking and plunge my sword into this
No.
spectral form, even though if I am as successful as I hope to be, it means I get some falling damage.
There was another
Don't
thing
you
that
wanna
you
touch
planned to do.
yourself, Sam?
You might want to do first.
That's a bonus action.
They don't have to go in order.
No, I suppose you're right. Yeah, of course. All right, let's see here.
I do love the imagery of like a jump scare on the specter.
Might as well do the healing first. I'm going to use the whole shebang, all 25 of my healing points by laying hands upon myself. And then so Sam awakens, clasps his hand to his chest again, breathes in as much as he breathes, soaks in, takes in, receives the radiance of the Morning Lord into his being, and then strikes out with the longsword at the creature. 17
hits.
or 10, and I think I will take this opportunity, if I may, to also Divine Smite.
You may not.
Can't now.
Your
I may
lay
not
on
because
hands
I
was
did
your,
the thing that we talked about.
was your bonus action.
How dare you?
I judge not. I don't judge at all. I will make my con save for that hit. Again, I must roll a 10. That is a 19. You are still grappled.
I will use my second attack to strike with the sword again. 16
16 hits.
or 13 points of damage. Oh, and this is still radiant damage because I'm assuming my imbued weapon maintains, because it's a timed effect, not a conscious effect.
I would agree that it does.
Okay.
I will roll concentration again. A 13. You remain grappled.
That's all I've got.
Erasmus doesn't need to move closer. Well, he might. Let's see. He cannot do anything from where he is. He has nothing with 55 feet of range. Erasmus will also hold his action for when the Gallows Speaker comes back within 30 feet. Should that happen, that will be his trigger. That is Erasmus's turn. Oksana, it is your turn.
Can you tell me a little bit about this spell, Fireball? I've never really heard of it.
So
Context.
So fireball, in this case, the Speaker of the Gallows will make a dexterity save. He will take damage either way. If he doesn't make the save, he takes full damage. If he does make the save, he takes half damage.
But he's in the sky.
He is in the sky. What is the range on the fireball spell?
It's like 150.
Well, then he's not that far.
And she's not going to get anybody or anything.
If you can see it in 3 dimensions, you'd manage.
I thought
You'd
Sam
manage to.
fell.
So you could put the fireball over the Gallows Speaker with Sam on this side and have it just hit the Gallows Speaker, and you would neither hit the Fey Spirit nor Sam. So you will not hit anyone except
Okay.
the person you want to hit.
Okay,
I
I
like
don't
that
want to hit
ruling.
anybody.
I will make my dexterity saving throw, which I'm very good at. Yes, that is an 11 for an 18. So I succeed. So when you roll, I will take half damage of what you roll.
Oksana will, okay, I can still do that. I don't know how you guys do all this. Like, this is like stressful.
Practice.
Like-
That's all it is.
Your minds are like,
Listening to a bunch of fine actual play products just like this one.
Subscribe to our sister podcasts at
That's right.
we got to get to better audio, guys.
I will not hear you place this shame upon our house.
Oksana is going to think back to the fight that we had in Barovia and with the zombies,
Mm-hmm.
the what the fuck and FML. And she's going to reach into her pockets because she has pockets, and she's going to pull out some leftover fingernail clippings, and she's going to look at them, and she's going to be like, I can't even use you because this is wrong spelled. So she will put it back into her pockets, and then she will look at the gallows and think about what she imagines Cormac thinks about, whatever is scariest, and cast fireball so you're going to take half of whatever this is.
Correct.
35.
So half of 35 rounded down is 17.
Okay, I will accept that.
So even twisting itself away, the fireball behind it manages to catch its side somewhat. And Sam, your whatever the word for ocular is for nose, somebody must know that. I don't got it. I don't got it at the moment.
Hazel.
You smell burning bone. Sam would also be close enough to see that this thing is, well, it can't be bloodied, so it's partially disintegrated.
Disincompensating?
We're going to go with that. We're going to go with disincompensating. 100%. I will roll concentration again, as I was damaged again. That is an 11. Sam, you remain grappled.
How dare you?
It's okay. It's about to bring you safely back to ground.
Yes, I really
Yeah.
should have cast protection versus good and evil. Why do I keep doubting that?
Use a bonus action.
Of course.
She's going to take out the empty bottle of holy oil that Ravanthas made into light or brightened it for a short period of time. And since she put her, what is it called? Potion of healing, she put it in there. And so she's going to take it if she can.
You
Can
can.
she? 3.
3 plus 2, you heal 5 points.
That is my turn. Thank you.
So
for your
speaking of
patience.
coming back down, the Speaker of the Gallows takes no actions nor bonus actions. It instead moves its speed, which is 40.
How far does how long does the frightened condition last?
It's over right now.
Okay.
Oh, you won! Yay.
What?
I think
It was a joke.
the enemy
You did not
disappeared out of the VTT.
Oh,
Wait, no,
I was
much
gonna
I'm
say,
bigger now.
More.
we-
goodness.
we're-
We'll take it.
I
Hi,
was
everyone.
gonna say we need to make that a bit more climactic, guys.
Don't
We're
do it
actually
every
gonna
time. The third version is horrible.
we're gonna have to create a scene here. Everybody read your lines. Shed a tear.
It gives me a chance to put a different name to this form. But he is now within 15 feet. Gummer, you held your action.
I did. He needs to make a wisdom save against Spirit Guardians.
It's a dirty 20.
So obviously a pass, but half of
Firebolt misses.
11, so 5 radiant damage.
Erasmus will grab a chair, and realizing he doesn't actually have to get close because the DM read the stat block more carefully, he'll throw the chair for a 6, which will not hit. The chair flies through the wall It sort of
Blast.
floats out into the ether. That is the end of my turn. It is Lady Walker's turn.
All right. All right. So, yeah, he wouldn't do that twice in one turn. Yeah, I mean, like I've said, like we figured it earlier, but it always seems kind of cheesy or weird to just be like, all right, I'm gonna walk over here and walk back over here. But I mean, I think that's how it works.
That is, it seems to be the rules as intended.
So obviously, some of that is verticality, but she'll float away and back.
My wisdom save this time is just a 10.
Okay. So it is 10 radiant damage.
Okay.
And does she still have a hold of Sam? Or
I do.
does he still have a hold of Sam? Yeah.
He does. I will concentrate again.
Oh, right.
He does not have hold of Sam. That is a
Oh.
4. Sam, as the grapple releases, you realize there is no gravity. And you do not fall. You just float, ungrappled.
I suspect he can't be made prone, perhaps. We'll just try to get him to halt. So wisdom save.
Wisdom save. That's a 10.
Awesome. Her DC, of course, is 13. So on his next turn, should he still be alive at that time, or whatever passes for life, he will have to basically do nothing. She'll just get over. She has enough to not fly up to him, but get over to where she's certainly. So Stella, that's her.
I am going to retroactively use my reaction to cast Ghastly Foresight to see if I can make that again. That is a 17.
Okay, that passes.
So this time the command does not take hold. Yeah, that's my first reaction.
Okay.
I'm only the person after me. All right then.
Awesome. That's all that Lady Watcher has.
Cormac.
Yep.
Ceiling is 15 feet high. So yeah, he's through. Or I guess 20 feet high. Makes more sense.
Just try to hit him with a chromatic orb. Kakuvivari. Flicks the ring until it is flashing fiery red. Flicks it again to send the little ball of fire in the direction of this guy, Gallows Speaker.
I will use Ghastly Foresight again to give you disadvantage on this roll.
Okay. I did intend to do it. I was just about to say second level, so I'm using that. Yeah, those are both terrible. The lower is going to be 11. I don't know what happens if I
Roll
use my
inspiration.
inspiration. I know. Do I have to roll at disadvantage again? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, forget it. I'm not going to use it. I'll try to use it to save myself if I need to instead, or some other moment. Okay, so that's it for actual Cormac. Following his turn is the Face Spirit, who can do the same deal again, fly partway down, face step the rest of the way, and make an attack that will be under normal circumstances at advantage because of that, unless anything is done to counteract that.
Nothing is done.
So that's going to be a 21 to hit
21 does hit.
with his gargoyle force hand slashing, and it will be 13 force damage.
Okay.
And that guy is now at the same height as him. And that's all.
For my last reaction, I will have the Face Spirit make that wisdom save again.
That's an 18.
18 succeeds. The same thing. The sound starts to echo within it, but it does not take hold. So Ravanthus is still up there. Is he supposed to be doing stuff?
There's nothing he really can do. So at most, now that I remember he's not. He started out paralyzed, so I kind of put him out of my mind. But at worst,
Sure.
he would just kind of go off into the
Okay.
walls to be a little more protected because I had
Just want to
lost
make
protection.
sure you are doing what you want.
No, I
with him.
appreciate it.
Gomer, your turn.
Where is the Avenger?
It is 15 feet above. It is inside the ceiling.
Okay. Inside meaning like part of it is?
I would say let's just call the ceiling 20 feet. So I just want to keep it simple.
Is its
So I will say
head-
that it is
its
inside.
head above the ceiling.
No.
Okay. So
We'll
its
s-
feet
we'll say
are
it's-
just
We'll say it's
dangling.
floating. I mean, in theory, to approach, one could turn horizontal and approach that way. We don't have to just go straight down.
Okay. Does it have extra protection from anything? Okay. You know what? Fuck it. Okay.
Does not seem to.
He is going to once again call upon the moon, and he's going to cast Moonbeam, which is a 40-foot cylinder. So it needs to make a Constitution save of 15.
That is a natural 20.
Okay, it takes
Son of a
7
motherless.
radiant damage. I will draw it in a moment. But then Gummer, I think genuinely frustrated at this fight, is going to slap himself across the face. Get it together. And he's going to use one of his second wins. And he will recover 3 hit points. And then he will move this way. And that is his turn.
Sam, ungrappled. Your turn.
What do you think, gang? Protection versus good and evil? Or should we stay on offense?
It's up to you.
It's up to me. How dare you?
It is, yeah.
How dare you force me to think for myself? By Lathander, I shall smite thee. I attack with the long sword. Oh, and I'm blessed too. Oh, no, we're not blessed anymore, right?
No.
You're not blessed anymore. No
Not blessed anymore. So that's a 12, which I don't think will hit.
12 will miss.
I, however, feel heroically inspired.
As you should.
As I should. Goodness, well, that's good. 15.
15
Oh, I
does
forgot
hit.
my imbued weapon is a +2, so that's a 17.
Very well. 17.
For 12 points of radiant damage, and this time I can smite.
Indeed.
I can get my mouse to answer correctly. I'm going to cast it at 2nd level, and that is a 17 plus 7. That is 24 points of radiant damage, in addition to the 12.
Okay.
You have a second attack, right?
I know, I was hoping I had killed it.
No, we gotta see that second.
Okay, here it comes. Once again by Lathander's fury. That's a 17, 18, 19.
19 hits.
For 8 points of radiant damage.
Sam, call your shot. How does Leo Delisnia meet his final end?
Sam had struck deep with that mighty divine smite, infusing his blow. He had cleaved the creature from the shoulder down to the guts. Sam draws the blade, spins around, and comes with his sword straight out to cleave the creature's head in twain, like a watermelon.
As the head starts to float off and starts to dissipate, it says something that, Sam, probably only you can hear. It says, "My enemy holds my blade still. I shall be satisfied." Leo Delisnia and the Gallows Speaker are no more.
Sam,
As you are
floats
now out of
himself
combat,
down.
Is the book there?
you watch as the book goes slowly, as though it has the teensiest bit of gravity.
Can I
hits the
collect it
floor.
on my way down?
Into Cormac's waiting hands.
I was going to say, I think the gargoyle swoops it and carries it to me.
based on where it is, I think it would drop right to Cormac.
Yeah, it might.
But yes, the book is now in your hands.
How's it going?
Almost done. Rasmus will approach Stella, and he'll say, "Are you ready, Stella?" "I think so. I'm afraid." He'd look at you guys and say, "They're going to take good care of you, and I will never be far away. I'll never stop watching you. Thank you for everything."
Maybe in the future, I'll never stop watching over you is a better way of saying that.
It's fair. That's fair. I've been 13 for a really, really long time. I still have plenty to learn about the right way to talk.
Then let that be a lesson that you can carry with you.
Pam is just keeping a very wary eye on the edges of this space for anything else that may come upon us. And he is looking, in as much as he has, I mean, he has detailed face, he has expressions, but he looks troubled. He looks vexed and is channeling it into vigilance.
Go ahead and make a perception check, Sam, as you look. Gummer, you were going to say something?
Well, I think Joe had something.
Oh, well, really, just as the book reaches Cormac, who wants to. I'm a little wary about actually opening the thing. I'm going to look at it on the outside very carefully first.
Make an Arcana check.
12.
You don't see anything else coming. Oksana, what are you doing?
She's probably sitting down in one of those chairs,
Okay.
kind of checking
In one of
out.
the chairs that Erasmus did not throw.
Yes, please. Yeah, checking out her injuries and whatnot.
The ring did not get me much boost, but my expertise gets me up to an 18 in Arcana.
18. This book has both a physical lock and an arcane lock.
Delighted to put off that decision at the moment.
Summer wants to check in on Wachter. Does she seem relieved? I suppose he'll ask, hey, Fee, are you relieved? How are you feeling? I mean, you seemed awfully concerned about that, Leo.
When I was a little girl, I was told never to go in the basement. There was a monster down there. I never did. I believed them. When I came back, when my mother and brother had died, I knew that I must go in the basement. When I went in there, there was nothing but the gouges. It was not until I read the words of Lady Lavina in the genealogy book, which I hope will be returned to me at some point, that I started to have an inkling of what was in fact trapped in that cellar. It was then that I, with the help of my associates, cast the binding circle around Wachter House, which we have kept there ever since. Protect us from him. So I am relieved he is gone. That said, I will not be relieved until my Stella is gone. Victor will now say, Stella, you ready? She'll stand there and she'll say, I think so. And Victor will say the last word of the spell. Melamar. And Stella disappears. Victor will say, okay, shouldn't take me as long, and then I'll cast to get us back and really hope it works. He'll begin his muttering again.
Sam is continuing to man the perimeter. Stone man the perimeter.
You are accompanied by other stone figures. The Fey Gargoyle Spirit and Rivanthus will take up in the patrol.
Stone Patrol. Sounds like a 1980s cop movie, cop sitcom. Stone Patrol. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na.
For a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yes. With a toy tie-in.
And McGruff, the crime dog, shows up for a special episode.
Lady Wachter will turn to Erasmus and she'll say, thank you for protecting my daughter. House Wachter owes you an unforgettable debt. Should you ever be in the presence of Wachter House, you will be welcome there as an honored guest. Thank you. Victor will look up and say, I'm about ready. Ready to go back?
I think I'm gonna stay.
Gummer,
I'm just kidding. No, let's go. I hate this place.
It's
Victor
fascinating, but
absolutely did not
worry
get
me.
any humor from that whatsoever. And even when you say you're kidding, he's, okay, are we ready? So we all can get inside the circle?
Sam steps in.
yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Nods at Erasmus. Erasmus very seriously nods back. And as Erasmus flies back out to wherever he goes, Once again, that final word, Melamar. And your body is ripped by the abdomen. The nausea and the spinning is unbearable, but it's over in a snap. You're back in the Wachter basement. The pentagram is black again. The floors and walls are gouged and solid. The candles are showing their normal dim light. Victor, upon almost like, the spell worked. Oh, wait, I'm not sure it did. And he'll yell, Stella, and he races out of the cellar. Lady Wachter is going as fast as she can. She's
Missed
not as young
opportunity.
and spry as Victor.
Not in my brain. Not in my brain.
He yells out, Stella.
I know.
Really?
I know.
Really?
Even I know that one.
Yeah,
Really?
I know.
You're gonna not? You're not doing it?
No. I decided not to do it. Yeah. But I did know it.
This
think.
is quite the episode, guys. Let's continue.
Anyway, so you guys race up just behind them, and you sort of get up the stairs into the back area. I don't know if I really call it a yard. And just as you're there, you turn and you see the back door fly open, and the now fully formed Stella Wachter launches herself at Victor. They embrace, they sort of fall to their knees, and you see they're sort of clinging at each other like they were drowning. Victor's, I'm so sorry. I was so afraid I'd lost you. It wasn't your fault. You saved me. Lady Wachter will step forward a little hesitantly. Stella looks up at her and stands and launches herself into her mother's embrace, and she'll say, I'm sorry, it was my fault. Please don't blame Victor. It was all my fault. Lady Wachter is stiff, but then will stroke her hair and say, hush. It's all right, I've got you. Stella turns, and it looks like she's going to take a step towards you all. But as she does, her leg starts to wobble, and she almost falls. Lady Wachter is able to hold her by the arm as Victor swoops in, and he says, whoa. You've been out of your body for a long time. You gotta get used to having legs again. When Stella looks at you, she's gratitude, of course, but there is fear that lingers of being where she was. And she'll say, it was so quiet in there, so cold. But now I can hear the world again, and it is down to you all of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Be careful, and always seek the warmth of the Morning Lord's light.
Thank you. I might not be in the middle of any teleportation circles for a good long time.
That's smart.
No offense, Victor. No, I'm honestly relieved. No. Lady Wachter will say, well, we've all had quite a night. I'm sure Stella would like to sleep in her own bed tonight.
Can we establish what time it is?
So, I imagined you did that at sundown, and make a nature check to see if the moon is peeking through. Perhaps its position may help you.
12.
The moon is struggling to peek through the clouds
As is Gummer.
on this particular evening. Lady Wachter will look at you all and say, please come by tomorrow or any time that you like. I have something in my possession that may assist you. She'll turn. Victor Volakovich, we have a spare room. I'd be happy for Halik to make it up for you for the night if you'd like to stay without having to climb that ridiculous tower. That's a very kind offer, Lady Wachter, but that tower is my home. I will rest best there, ridiculously high or not. Lady Wachter and Stella will look back at you.
Victor, it's an olive branch. After all you've done to get Stella back, maybe being close, maybe it'll help.
Victor looking at Lady Wachter, and she'll just raise her eyebrows. I say, thank you. Looking at you guys, I'd have lost her without you. Her life would have been over, and maybe mine too. I'm not religious generally, but Cormac, I don't know. I don't see how science could have brought you here just in time to save the purest soul in Barovia. Coincidence maybe, but looking at Sam. Anyway, I also have something for you. I don't know if it will be as useful. But it's certainly something I would like to part with. So it's definitely not useful to you in its current form, but I will I'll work with it tomorrow. So perhaps you could come by if you're so inclined. Lady Wachter will turn and she'll say, I'm tired, young ones. Walk me to bed. All three will turn, and they will enter the Wachter-Haus. And Irina will burst out the door and say, oh, thank God. I am so happy to see all of you.
How
Hey,
long has
look.
it been?
Oh, it's been 3 or 4 hours. I started definitely to worry.
We are intact. I am sorry that we caused you concern.
Oh, no, I'm just happy to see you all back.
I am happy to see you.
She'll kind of glance at each of you. So what now?
Bed.
The
I'm not
5-minute
the
walk.
only one who's tired.
No, of course not. There seems to be no end of things to attend to in this place, but that can hardly be not enough for one day.
It's a 5-minute walk back to the inn. As you enter, it seems Danica's on the night shift tonight, and she'll just sort of, out saving the world again, are you?
A little girl's spirit was lost. We helped defend the ones reuniting it.
Stella Wachter, is she not sick anymore then?
She is hale.
It's great to hear. Well, I took the liberty of making your beds, cleaning your room. Needed a good sweep, but should be nice and comfortable for you now.
You are most kind.
It's my job, and she'll kind of look away and sort of. You might talk to Erwin in the morning. I think he wants to ask you something. Good night.
Oksana is going to go up to the room and go out on to the balcony. Does she see a moon?
Make a perception check.
There is something else she might see there, but I have a question to ask first. I don't know if you want to resolve her roll first.
I will.
10.
10. The moon is mostly obscured, but as you watch, the clouds do part just for a moment, and you can see the moon is very full. Looks closer than it felt last night, even almost full. And then the clouds will move back over it. But the moon shone brightly enough that you could see what's behind the inn a little bit better.
She will climb up onto the roof or wherever would be where she could just sort of lay on her back and just kind of sort of catch moments where she could see the moon, at least
The roof is
for a short time.
The roof is very flat enough, and as you lay there, depending on how long you lay, you will get multiple peeks at the moon.
Okay, that's what she'll do.
Sam goes to the bar and gets 2 glasses of wine or mugs of. They don't have ale in this place. That's right. Gets a pitcher of wine and 2 glasses, and brings it up. And he sits down by Gummer. Would you like to have a glass of wine?
So there are 2 questions there. Do I wish to have a glass of wine? No. Will I gladly have a glass of wine with you? Yes.
I have witnessed that often a glass of wine is used to initiate a conversation.
You'd be right.
I will pour you the wine, and you can decide if you would like to consume it, but it will have served its ceremonial function.
It's a good call. Can you smell, Sam?
I am aware of certain scents.
Well, let's see if you're aware of this one. And he's going to take his boots off. All right, what's on your mind?
I have been falling short in the performance of my duties.
I think that's a load of shite, but I'm willing to hear the rest of it.
Too often have I been rendered inoperable during our bouts of violence and contest.
Do you think it's a personal failing?
I am uncertain how to rectify it.
Have you ever fought someone who didn't deserve it?
I hope I have not.
Yeah,
To
do
the
you
best
remember?
of my ability, I have avoided it.
Then rather than a failing, it's a personal triumph. If you're laying your body on the line for something bigger than yourself, for people who can't do it themselves, you can apologize all you want, but I won't accept it. It's not
But
a
if-
failing.
Yet if I fall, I am incapable of continuing to provide my services.
Yeah, but as someone who helps to pick you up when you fall down,
Yes.
isn't that part of what the Morning Lord would want?
Yes.
So haven't you considered that maybe the Morning Lord is telling you to do exactly what you should do, and he's keeping my fat ass around to make sure that it stays there?
I see. The Morning Lord says I should be unafraid, for he has blessed me with a gummer.
Well, I mean, that's one way to put it. What I would say is, in the same way that, in a very roundabout way, that Madame Irina's visions led us to actually find Arabelle. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe the Morning Lord can't act directly through others, so he inspires us to help each other out. He inspires you to be the sword, and he inspires me to be, I don't know what you would call it, the healing potion.
The balm.
It's a nicer way of putting it. Everybody needs a balm, right?
I should think so.
In that way, you're just like everyone else.
I suppose in that way I am. I do not know what to do with that information.
Sometimes you don't always know. Sometimes you find out when it's relevant. Sometimes you never find out.
Hmm.
The four of us, in our own ways, are hopefully balms to each other.
I am capable of providing restoration to a limited degree.
Yeah. But our abilities shouldn't be the only things that make us what we are. Maybe you're a balm by offering a glass of wine. Shitty, cheap, acidic wine.
It's the worst brand. It's the purple Great Mash number 3.
It doesn't
Oh, no.
matter. He doesn't care anyway.
Oh, yeah.
We must work to find better wine.
No. We don't need to do that. So I have my own questions about how exactly, with no sun, a place can grow enough grapes with enough reliability to make wine. But that's neither here nor there in this conversation right now. Cormac sets our minds at ease. Oksana lets us see the parts of ourselves that sometimes we wish we didn't see, but we still need to live with and be with. I'm not the only balm, and neither are you. Just like you're not the only fighter.
The complementary dynamic of teamwork. Partnership. Camaraderie.
Friendship, hopefully.
Friendship.
Cormac, I would say your face spirit is probably winked out around this time.
Yeah, I like to think that it kind of like weathers visibly in that statue way until it kind of just poofs away in a little breeze of gold flower petals. And as it does, like Cormac's been, again, I don't know if anybody's watching, that's up to Oksana, but if anybody in the world we're seeing, he's like been kind of like really trying to stand there, almost like in Dream, you know, confident next to this thing. And as soon as it goes, he just like collapses, arms down on the railing, like he's been just like force of will for that whole 20 minutes and just breathing.
I think that Oksana would be her head would be laying back so her hair is hanging off the edge of it on the periphery, depending on whether or not I need to roll. I think she would probably sense you there.
I don't think you need to roll unless you think you need to. How focused on the sky would you be?
Bro.
Would you be aware enough of your surroundings? And if
She
you're aware
would-
of enough of your surroundings, then he's there.
No, she would sniff it out. Just say, hey, are you good?
Oksana. What are you doing up there?
Well, I was going to ask you what you were doing there with the little thing, the little Fae thing.
Well, I was a bit more confident in the test we ran with Ravanthus. I'm still not at ease around these others, but it does seem to have worked. You know, I used to find quite a lot of peace up on rooftops. Is that what you're doing?
Yes, you should come up here. It's nice. Do you need help?
No. I'm not the most adept at all things, but climbing out onto roofs is something I have quite a bit of practice at.
I mean, only if you want to. I think she's remembering what he said about his past and thinking, oh shit, this is probably not the best.
Well, it might be. It might be one test of confidence too many for the day. I said I found peace out on roofs, but didn't really end there. And making friends too uncautiously on rooftops has caused quite a bit of pain. I leave it up to you. If you wish me to join you, I will.
I think you should join me. You're awesome. And yeah, she would use that word.
All right, then.
Do you see the moon? Does he see it?
It depends on how long you look. It's one of those nights where the moon is full and it's there, and it's under clouds, but as the clouds move, it peeks through.
I don't think we can make a habit of staying up all night every night, but it would be interesting to know if the moon peeks through more often than the sun.
I would imagine so. This place is pretty dark. You know, I was looking in my books because, you know, I read. Like, I know you read. I actually expected you to be out here with more papers if you were going to be out here. But I was looking in my books and I was wondering, do you think we'll ever get out of here?
I don't know. It seems possible. Obviously, whatever Victor did to try to escape from this place didn't work, but he's shown some power to transfer to other places is viable. I was thinking of... Well, I should say first that I haven't put a lot of thought into it because I don't know that I'm too interested in getting out. But... Well, I was thinking about some exchange between... I think it was. between Sam and some of those acolytes of Lady Wachter. And one of these acolytes, these followers of the mist itself, this Ezra, whatever it is, they suggested that Lathander was not able, that nothing was able, that you must give in to the inevitability that nothing can split the mists. But that's not true. STRAHD splits the mists and allows the Vistani through, if we have to be understanding what has gone on over time. So the power exists.
Oksana's gonna. She's been on her back. She's gonna roll over and kick her feet up, kind of like behind her, and kind of take a moment and sort of think about that. And she's just going to say, I don't know about all of that, but the part that you were saying that you did not know if you wanted to go back, is there a special reason?
Well, it just seems like this is the place where, well, things are dark enough that the dangers I bring with me can be beneficial.
Cormac, as you say that sentence, behind Oksana, you see the form of these things, but they don't call out to you. And they almost seem to respond to you saying you feel like you kind of have understood them and how to use them a bit more, and they remain completely still.
I think something about the purpose that we have here has given me a different way of looking at things, provided some clarity in my understanding of the problems I've faced. What about you? You're eager to return home?
No. I've been thinking this, that I wasn't sure what I would be going back to. Oh my God, my kid just dropped something from the ceiling or something. Sorry. I did not know what I was going to be going back to, because I don't really know that there was really anything there for me. So I don't really know that I don't know. My biggest fear is that we were already dead in this place. I'd
Well, that
rather
doesn't
be
seem
here.
quite right.
How so?
Well, I mean, I've studied some of these things a bit. I, for a while, thought that some of the divine forces of the world might be, and their opposites, were responsible for the things that I've dealt with, for these gargoyle entities and so forth. So I looked into it quite a bit. I know some small amount of these other places, and I don't think this is one of the lands of the dead exactly.
I know this sounds really weird. So while he's talking, she's starting to realize she hasn't eaten. And I know this is going to sound really weird, but I think in this experiment we are doing with this whole eating thing, I think that I might be able to like separate like bad memories or bad dreams from good. And I might be able to take the bad ones. Do you think I could try with you? I mean, and she sits up, not to make it awkward.
Well, of course. Yeah, yes, no problem. But, well, I wonder, what are the bad? How do you know?
I guess I don't really know, but there's like different colors, and then there's spaces in between those colors. And I don't really know how it works. Maybe if I just think about it.
Well, I wasn't really aware of it the last time, but thinking back on it later, didn't seem really permanent. Well, I confess, I'm becoming a bit afraid to lose some of the darkness now that I'm learning to use it. But there are other things. I'm not excited about this other thing that may be leaking from the Amber Temple or whatnot. That frightens me still. You may try, of course.
If he's next to her, she'll just kind of lean into him and, well, she won't wrap her arm around him, but put her arm around.
Are you still sitting, or did you?
Mhm.
So
Uh,
I think he's kind of like cross-legged with way too lanky knees that are like kind of don't really lay down properly.
and it's like super awkward because it's like people that are like the middle school dances where they're like, so she'll just sort of lean into him and have her arm around and hope that will work.
With the clarity of your conversation, Oksana, go ahead and make an insight check, but do so with advantage.
17.
17. So with more practice, you're fairly certain, mostly isolate his particular fear as you sort of lean into focusing on it. It's red with sort of a black outline almost that comes around it. And you think that you can take that away temporarily.
And she will try.
Cormac, as you know, she is aiming for the
Surfing.
memories. Surfing. What is it that you'd be trying to discern to decide if it's working or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. You look. He should probably be trying to feel it, but I don't think he's good enough at that. So I think it's really about trying to like. It ends up being more memory based, right? Where he's trying to like remember but not remember because he doesn't want to think too closely about the thing that appeared to him, and just kind of try to, as he's been putting it aside, just see if that gets any easier. I think that maybe that makes sense, right? If sort of like you've been trying to put that out of his mind to some degree, does that become any easier?
It does. The memories still exist. Nothing of the past actually changes. But you do feel more resolve, and you feel more at peace with what has happened. So despite Cormac's best efforts, he does feel better.
No, there's something has quieted, certainly. I hope what you've done is real, that it is quieter and not just muffled.
Oksana, feeling that moment of fullness, do you stop? Or do you continue?
Is it going to cause her to have any ill effects? Because last time she got zapped, I just wasn't sure.
Her? No.
What?
I love how you said that.
Yes. Even I loved how you said that, and it doesn't sound great for me.
She will ask him, is this okay?
Obviously, I understand even less of what you're doing than it sounds you do, but you seem to have been accurate thus far, as far as I can tell.
She'll continue just because I want to know.
With all of the black and red gone, more or less, as you continue to take the fear away. You're starting to take away the fear that all people have that keeps them safe. You're taking away you feel like, as you're starting to pull this in, Cormac, you're starting to think, maybe I don't need magic. Maybe I should just, like, put my dukes up and fight. I could probably handle myself. And, I don't think anything would go wrong if I tried to cast that, spell. What's the worst that could happen? Oksana, as you pull these things in, it's like when you are too full, but the food tastes so good that you continue eating, and eventually it does not taste good anymore.
Does she get what you just described that he's experienced, or is he experiencing that?
As you pull these things in, you do have some experiences of them yourself. There is a sort of I'm taking these from you, but I'm not throwing them out in the air. I'm not tossing them off the roof. I'm taking them inside myself. And at first, you do start to feel like, I am choosing to do this. I am relieving this person. And at this point, you start to notice the slightly overly reckless thoughts and feelings that he's having.
I think in her decision to continue to hug him, I guess she would have taken her other arm and actually embraced whatever part of him she's leaning on. And in the moment of realizing that, she actually switches to her patron, awkward, and says, "It's you."
You're taking away his fear.
Yes, this is what I want to do. I want to take away his things that he is worried about.
I can tell you from my experience that too much fear, not great. Some fear is necessary. Careful you do not take that fear which is necessary.
So she'll immediately stop hugging him. Are you okay? Are you okay?
As though, not like you were physically restraining him, but like that was kind of the only thing keeping him like where he is. And as soon as you release, it just stands up and it's just, yes, I think I'm quite all right. I was speaking before of clarity. I think I have even more. I've been wondering about how best to emulate Sam's confidence, and I think perhaps it comes more with his willingness to get up in the brawl.
I don't think you should do that. This is like a great look on you, but you stick to your books. Like, that is your talent. This is what I love. You should continue.
Know. I mean, it's only recently I learned this spell. I thought it was fine with a crossbow, but I've used the dagger a few times straight up in the face of these things.
I don't want you to get hurt. Like, I really don't want you to get hurt.
I don't think it's going to be me that gets hurt.
Well, this is the weirdest thing to like break doing a scene. You don't actually know what you're doing. There's no words. Literally. Well, yeah, of course. Yes. And she's gonna hug him, and she's trying.
He hugs back way harder than he ever has before.
Oh my.
Dang. She's gonna try to. You would think that it would be like, oh, he's so attractive now because he has confidence, but actually, it's I don't know what's happening, and she's hugging him to try to put that back into him, whatever she took, at least some of it.
Just as should you fill your buffet plate one too many times, one does not walk and put the food back, even if it might be perfectly all right to do so. It seems to not work that way. You are able to hug him and be aware of his aura without pulling anymore. You are able to be aware and see his aura very clearly, but you can't put anything back.
So am I able to hug him without doing anything and just like a real hug?
The minute you decide not to think about auras, you don't.
Okay, she's
It
hugging.
seems to be like a light switch you can turn on and off. Sorry,
Okay.
excuse me.
No, you're fine. She's hugging him, and Cormac, do you feel better now? Less ready to fight something?
I think that feeling of being ready that's feeling better, isn't it?
Well,
There must be more going on in this town tonight.
it's just not really you. I don't think.
As the moments pass, she starts to make a little more sense. So like, well, one by one, these good fears descend upon you back. We're like, well, there is a little bit of the, what was I thinking? There's a little bit of awareness.
Oh, and there's a bit of a release too. Like obviously, if you're still got your arms around him, that's the way it is. But he's much less tension in the return hug, and perhaps you're right. Was this you?
I think perhaps maybe I overdid it a little bit. I'm sorry. I don't know how many hugs you have had, but you said that you have not had many.
No, not many.
I feel kind of bad because the first time I hugged you, something weird happened. And then this time I hugged you and this weird thing happened. And then I tried to fix it. I feel like I maybe like messed with your like idea of what hugging me is like. I'm sorry.
Perhaps it need not mean the same thing to everyone.
As the awkwardness descends back upon the two of you, Gummer in bed, feet blissfully without any weight on them. What is your thought as you drift off?
I think even if Sam didn't fully understand the significance of what he said, I think Gummer thinks about his dream and thinks about being a balm not just for the people around him, but for the land itself.
Cormac and Oksana now climbing down off the roof and re-entering.
Sam is standing in the room, and he has like his prayer beads out, and he's just sitting there going, light, life, light, life,
Oksana and Cormac, as you walk back in, you hear Sam saying this sort of mantra.
Are you okay, Sam?
I am contemplating something.
Would you like to share it, or it's okay. Me too. I am contemplating too, and she will go exit into her little side room, whatever it is we're calling it. And is that where Irina is?
Mm-hmm. She seems to have waited up for you. And she kind of gives you the look and the smile like, where have you been?
Girl, I have things to tell you. Let me tell you. We've got stuff to discuss.
She will not knowingly mimic your posture on the roof and sort of do this with the feet up. And that conversation lasts until the two of you drift off. Cormac, as Oksana goes into her room.
Yeah, just a return of all the things that might plague us tomorrow, I think is enough. He just thinks he needs to get some sleep and to be able to confront these things that are suddenly frightening again.
As each of you rests, Gummer, you have maybe a nightmare, but it feels almost like a normal one. You are in this somewhere in Barovia, and you are able to tend a piece of the land, and the grass grows back green, and the trees get leaves back on them, and everything looks good. And of course, then you stand up and like that, and you turn, and there's another one. And it just never ends. And eventually, it's one of those dreams that doesn't really have an end. Cormac, you dream of the gargoyles, and they don't speak to you like they have in the past. But it also feels sort of like a normal nightmare, where sometimes you feel like you can control the gargoyles and sometimes you can't. Sam, as you develop more and more human emotions, confidence, friendship, insecurity, you, for your century's rest, mostly the light and life is able to sustain you. There is a moment, though, where you have a flash of holding that man by the shoulders over the cliff. You can see reflected in his eyes your own red eyes. And as you look at its face, you see the brave, frightened, and also unsettling look of Doru as you take your hands off and Doru out of sight. Oksana, your dream is not normal. It is patron-free, which is nice. You're standing on the very first bridge you guys ever crossed, the River Ivlis Bridge, the same bridge where you had your conversation with STRAHD. There is not a cloud in the sky, and it is bright sunshine. Almost so bright that you're like, I thought I wanted this, but man. And you realize that opposite you, approaching you, is a shadow. You don't feel afraid of it, but it does approach, and there's nothing the light of the sun can do to take that shadow off. But almost immediately, like a movie where the the sun and the moon flip over in a very fast. As the moonlight shines down, the shadow starts to appear, and you realize it's a humanoid of some type. Too hard to tell what it is. And they try and cover themselves with the cloak, but eventually the cloak is gone. And they sort of look at their hands. And they look up at the moon. And that is the moment in which you awaken. You all awaken having taken a long rest.
I still haven't used my heroic inspiration. Jeez.
Well, look at you.
I hope that it is. I'm gonna go ahead and railroad you down to breakfast without asking you if there's anything you'd like to do. You're not allowed to do anything this time. As you sort of finish eating, and Erwin, you sort of notice that Erwin's been giving you guys like weird looks is too strong. But it is though as he wants to talk to you about something, but he's nervous. And when he approaches you to bring you stuff or clear your plates, he's sort of like a... And he'll walk off.
Erwin.
Excuse me.
Erwin.
I...
Sam and I want to talk to you.
Well, and Danica said you wanted to talk to us.
Right.
And Gummer also wants to talk to you.
Well, no, I want you to talk to us because we were told that's what you wanted.
You looked
And
uncomfortable.
we would like to talk with you.
All right. Wipe his hands on his apron.
And we shall
Say-
all speak together.
Like a real conversation.
Seriously.
I'm trying. You gotta let me talk. Listen, I know you've been doing lots of favors around town, big and small. I hate to ask, but I hope that the hospitality Danica and I have shown may have earned us a favor. It's kind of a big one.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us.
There is nothing too heavy for Lathander's shoulders to bear.
So our wine shipment is almost 2 weeks late. It's never been late by more than a day before. This is not that large a place. It's not that far away. So 2 weeks is a very long time. I was hoping perhaps you'd, at some point, be willing to go out to the winery and see what's happened, speak with the owner, resolve the delay, if it's something simple.
This is the Wizard of Wines?
Aye, yes, the Wizard of Wines. It's the only winery in town.
Is it an actual wizard?
Good question.
No. It's not an actual wizard, no.
Well, but tell us everything you know. We must need to know everything so that we can do everything you need.
Well, you know, it's a couple hours away, sort of southwest end of the valley. You sort of go like you're going to Kresk, but then instead of turning north, you keep going.
Does he look like he's going to be holding back any information or sort of dilly-dallying around, dancing around?
Make an insight check.
This dice is really pretty, but it rolls shit, so. 6.
6. Who knows?
Sorry, I interrupted you. Please continue.
No, it's so you'll don't go across the Raven River Bridge. Just keep following that trail. You'll run right into it. The owner is he's a stubborn old bird, short temper, but he knows his business, and he should be able to help you. Davian Martikov is his name. It's a family business.
When do you want us to do this?
Beggars can't be choosers. Whenever you have time in the next couple of days, I'd hope.
We have reason to travel in that direction, do we not?
Is it on the way to, is it Berez?
It's not.
Okay.
Because the way to Berez it's a lot of backtracking, unfortunately. Because you have to walk to Kresk, get what you need, walk back all the way to the Luna River Bridge, and then go south. It's actually from Berez, once you get there, it's 3 hours back to Kresk, but only an hour and a half back to Vallaki. So you have to retrace your steps quite a bit. So you feel like this is 2 trips for sure. Separate trips.
Well, don't we have to do something in Crest, you guys?
Yes. We've got to go to Baba Lysaga and figure out his scrying spell.
Was there a time? Like, I know we had to do it.
He said it. I think we said we'd be back in 3 or 4 days. Maybe longer.
If we're to help them locate through this scrying some missing person, then whatever's befallen them should be handled quickly, I would think.
Erwin, we're not talking like riots, right? Like, people aren't going to be mad because there's no wine.
Oh, no. And even if they are, I mean, you'll sort of look around and you can see the locals who are already there drinking. They'll say, I mean, some of these fellas might get the shakes a little bit, but in terms of us losing the custom, well, we're the only game in town, and, we've, thanks to you all, got quite a bit of savings. So, no, I'm not, I don't expect riots.
So,
and honestly, with these lot, I think I could handle it.
So, turning his attention back to the group. So, if we went to Kresk, got the stuff for the promise we've already made, we go visit the witch, or the hag, or I forget exactly what it was. We resolve that, go back to Kresk, tell them that we've figured it out, and then visit the Wizard of Wines.
So we don't need to, above table, we don't need to go back to Kresk to solve Kresk's deal, correct?
You would
do.
need to go and report what you found, what the witch told you.
Right, but we can go do it and then go back.
We have to go there first, I think, to get some item to help with the scrying.
You start to run into you can only travel for so long in a day without it being too much. So if you imagine 3 hours there to Kresk, 3 hours to Berez, then presumably Kresk would let you stay there, but it's going to take you at least 3 hours to get back. That puts you at 9 hours, which D&D mechanically, you're generally expected to travel 8.
But you said that Berez is actually closer to Vallaki, right?
You could, from Berez, go back to Vallaki, spend the night, and given how Erwin is describing it, going back to Kresk and then going to the winery would not require a second trip. Because that would be 3, and then probably from there, maybe just an hour and change to get to the winery from Kresk. So it's pretty close.
I don't know. They were awfully paranoid. Another option is I send someone like Murnar. I send him to Kresk, tell them with a note attached, telling them to give him whatever they were planning to give us, and then he flies and meets us at the crossroads. But if they shoot him...
And even if they don't, and I think you're right, speaking as someone many would call paranoid, I think that you're right, they probably are, and for good reason, as we've seen so many of STRAHD's spies. But even if they don't, some other fate could befall him and he'd never return. At least you could get him back, but not with the item.
All right. Well, that would be my vote for a plan. Kresk, Perez, Vallaki, back to Kresk. Sorry,
Right.
sleep, then to Kresk, and then to the winery.
And
All that is doable in a reasonable amount of walking. A lot, but reasonable. Doable.
And
I
we're
can
looking
summon us a steed.
We're talking about 4 or 5 days until our dinner.
I'd have to do the math on that. I'd say at least 4 or 5.
Okay.
Because how long was the hag? Because the hag thing was like 14 days.
I'd have to do
No.
do the math. It was 8 days from I don't want to do the math.
Okay,
It's okay.
that's fine. Ballpark.
But
I
we
would say
can-
4 to 5 days is
do it over
at
the-
least.
we could definitely do the things we currently have on our plate over the course of 2 days ish,
100%.
and then make it back in time.
100%.
and if something gets in our way, we'll all die, and then it'll be different people who have a different amount of time to do things.
Strahd.
If there's a,
No one dies.
there's a-
Strahd.
well, if there's a
You only
if there's
have
a
2 days.
if there's a TPK, you can all be Barovians, rising. You can call yourself Doru's heroes and walk
Yes.
around and do it yourself.
I just like the idea of
Doru's Legion.
Doru's
somehow our
Legion is
new
better.
characters know of the invitation and all show up at the appointment. I did not invite you people here.
So as you get yourselves ready to travel, this morning to Kresk, Erwin will just say, "Oi, whenever you go is great, but I just need an hour's heads up. I'd like to send someone with you." And that's where we will end for tonight.
Duh.
Thanks for watching. If you watch us on YouTube and you're still here, leave us a comment. Let us know where we messed up. You can number them if you'd like. We really do sound better when you get to look at how beautiful we are. There's a lot to that. Anyway, next week sounds like we will be traveling back to the wall at Kresk and then into the swamps of Berez. And we will see you then.